Freedom Fighters, I'm coming back at you with another Friday weekly wrap up where we discuss current events and news and politics. And I do other videos as well where, I do gear reviews and talk about SHTF, the collapse and preparedness videos. I do travel and cooking as well. So if that sounds like anything you'd be interested in, definitely like and subscribe and share the content, and it really help the channel out. But on to the happenings of the week, what went on this week, and as always, the world is burning. Right, that's kind of another one of the focal points of the channel. But we have this Minneapolis church school shooting event that happened over the week, and everyone's rushing to blame and all this, and surprise, surprise, their push for more gun control. And are we really surprised? The only part that actually surprised me was both sides are getting in on it, which I shouldn't really be surprised because, the Republicans have been in on gun control many times before, right? The left usually starts to push or starts to talk for it, but the right always caves in and, goes into some sort of middle ground and bends the knee anyway. So it shouldn't be surprising. But even Fox News, all day had people on there like, the access to firearms and, the guns in our streets are really a problem. And then they had Trey Gowdy on there who was going full on like, yeah, we need to, ban these weapons and high capacity magazines and the assault rifles and, the whole 9 yards. And then he went off to shill his book. There's always a book. And I've talked about that many times before. They always get on there. They always seem to have a book to sell or some kind of merch. And it's all the same spew and promo code Patriot, promo code America for my book while I sit here and shill taking away your Second Amendment God-given rights. And then Trump goes up there and then retweets it or puts out a message saying, yeah, go buy Trey Gowdy's book, and, Trey Gowdy's so great, and I've covered him multiple times, and, he was another do-nothing showman, just another person, a part of the theater, and, yeah, he got on there, and he had his, good little, reels, or, he looked real good on a short, his little 15-minute, 15-second, bits where, he would yell at some leftist or something, but it was all bark, no bite. He never did anything, never accomplished anything, and kind of just drifted off into the shadows. And now here he is, back trying to take your guns away. So, that's pretty much where it's going. And they had people all day on Fox News talking about that. And then they had this other guy that I can't even remember his name or where he was from, but then he was talking about how he has a system in place, an AI algorithm, a system called Gideon, that he was like, we're like a week away from implementing this. So get ready for that. And he blew the whistle on that, I guess, and who knew that was coming? I mean, we all heard about the Planeteer thing. Um, so, I mean, that was kind of like we knew it was coming, but now this new system, and he's like, yeah, Gideon is run by Israeli technology. So, once again, to whose surprise, the Israeli government and Israeli intelligence run by an AI system within our country is going to be fed to law enforcement to identify threats. And who told you this? What did I say? I can't remember the video I said it, but it was long ago where I was talking about, what was it, Operation Spiderwebs or something like that in Palestine, which was the first, trial run. They were the guinea pigs. And I said, oh, you just wait. It's coming here. It's coming for you. I actually think it was called the Lavender Project. But yeah, it was an AI database, and they were like, oh, listen to these people and their, beliefs or whatnot, and see where they go. Oh, he just bought, a bag of fertilizer or a couple bags of fertilizer. He just bought, a can of nails. He's going to the gas station. He just bought some lighters. He just bought a 50-gallon barrel drum. uh, all these things. Well, let's just send a drone his way and take him out. And you remember Biden ended up taking out some random dad with like 5 or 6 kids in his minivan. And they were just like, oh, oh, the system malfunction, our bad. And Israel has done that multiple times. They've taken out churches, and they're just like, oh, it was a mistake. Aid vans, journalist vehicles. They've taken out the press, and all this is really to send a message. Um, it's don't send aid here. Don't help these people. Don't cover our war crimes. We don't want journalists here, so stay away. And they're basically saying if you're in the battlefield, you're fair game. Which, by the way, he said, um, he said the other day, he came out, Netanyahu said, the Christians aren't leaving the churches in Gaza. He's like, yeah, the Gazan Christians are refusing to leave the churches. And then he's like, well, if they're on the battlefield, then, whatever's going to happen. And they've already blown up some Christian churches and stuff like that. So, you know, the whole situation is crazy. The world is burning. And we got events all over the world. And I don't know if you saw the post that I made with the black flag. And if you don't already follow me, definitely follow me on True Social or X because I do a lot of my posting there. But I do sometimes put, my post up onto the YouTube channel. But what really got me riled up when I posted that day was the video of the 12-year-old girl. I think it first came out that she was British, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's since come out that she's from maybe Scotland, I believe. But she had to fend off an invader with a knife and a hatchet, and then she got arrested. And I was just like, and I was recently watching a video from Russell Brand, and I can't remember what that video was titled, but it was like Europe's on the verge of exploding, or Europe is ripe to burn, or something like that. Europe is burning, and they've recently just had protests over being able to fly their flag, if you can believe it, because now a gesture of flying your own country's flag is a case for racism and hate speech. So they've banned the British flag, and they banned the London flag. I believe it was the flag of St. George or something like that. But they've banned basically any um, historical flags or imagery to that of their country, to that of their culture. And then a guy took a video. He's like, okay, we can't fly our flags, our British or our London flags or whatever. Okay, if that's the same, if that's the way the rules are gonna be, then no flag should fly. But there's Palestinian flags all over the place. People are flying, LGBTQ pluses flags all over the place. Um, so it's always the double standard of justice, and no, you're not allowed to fly your flags, but they're allowed to fly theirs. Um, but to get back to that, young girl that had to fend herself off, and then she gets arrested, which once again, just proves the policeman. I don't know how many times they have to prove themselves are not on your side. They're there working for the elites, and Keir Starmer put out something the other day talking about, right-wing uprisings in Europe and all this stuff. And dude's a clown. We already covered, him as well multiple times. And he was the guy. He was one of the ones in Zelensky's cabinet meeting with Macron and all the other crackheads, hiding bags of coke. So that's what they do. I mean, these guys fly around on private jets, do cocaine with other elites, do drugs, party it up. They got prostitutes. They're all on Mr. Stein's island and, doing all that. And then, meanwhile, taking down the countries and the people they're supposed to be working and serving for. And they hold the most contempt for them. They hate you. And everyone's waking up to it. And the citizenry is done. And what I was saying, man, in Europe for sure, when you see those kind of things, when that war kicks off, and it's happening all across the West, when the war kicks off, it will be the politicians and the cops that have allowed this to happen. They will be remembered whose side they chose, who they chose to arrest when this stuff goes down. I mean, you have people in England and British, wherever, all across Europe, who are getting arrested for simple, funny memes. There was another guy, I'm not sure exactly where, but again, somewhere in the Eurosphere. I saw a video of him getting arrested for saying he likes bacon in front of some kind of Muslim protest or something like that. There were some Muslims there, and a cop was playing, the mediator. He was in the middle, separating, two crowds and separating this gentleman. And he said, "I like bacon." And not even in a hateful way. He cheered it, like literally, was like, "I like bacon. I like bacon," And then the cop's like, you get over here, sir. It's not like he said, "We eat bacon here, you Muslim scum, and, we hate you and go back to your country," and all that. No, he just cheered, "We like bacon." And the white cuck cops arrest their own people, their countrymen, on behalf of the politician's order because it's the law. And we do whatever the law says. And whatever the politicians tell me to do. They will turn on their own people. They will do as they're told. And we, the people, are gonna remember it. And, when this war kicks off, man, when this whole powder keg that's getting ready to blow kicks off, we're not gonna forget. We're not gonna fucking forget who these people are and what they've done. I saw another video the other day in Canada that some Indian rapper, this new song, it was called like "Canada is Our Home" or something. And they're literally talking about, how Canada belongs to them now. And throughout the music video, they're beating and pummeling, white people, the Canadians. So, I mean, we already know all about the Caucasians, but that's just where we're at, man. And it's all over the Western world. It's here. I also posted something when I think in that video where the guy gets arrested for saying "I love bacon." I said it happened right here in America, in Texas, for that matter. And I forget the guy's name. He used to be a YouTuber. He was like a veteran gun tuber or whatnot. He did a couple open carry gun stunts and stuff. And he threw a pack of bacon at a mosque and got felony hate crime charges. Maybe that's a little across the line from what this guy did, who just chanted he likes bacon. But we're right here, man. People are getting felony charges for putting a skid mark on a rainbow crosswalk, or painting over a BLM sign, or whatever, So, it's happening right here. It's all coming here too, right? There is a war a brewing right here. You don't have to look abroad. The same thing's going on. The politicians don't care, man. And I think I'm gonna leave it there. You know what it is, man. We are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom fighters out.